I have no idea if this is going to work at all. Because there are things in build mode, which is what I plan on working on, that aren't safe. But I know where they are, so I can avoid them. But I want to build a new house. I removed that one because I wasn't using the stuff fundamental to it. Some of it was just frustrating to me. The stupid bags on heads thing shouldn't exist, so I removed it. Just like the Star Wars shit that isn't called Star Wars. I wasn't engaging with any of that at all, so I just removed it. This has been added. From one of the recipes this added, or one of the dishes it added, that said it was Filipino. I'm guessing this is a stand-in for the Philippines, just like kohlrabi is Japan. Um, okay, so if I build there, that's a beach, so I'd be able to swim off there. I don't really give a fuck about the fishing, but it is right there. Okay. Nothing else obvious right by you. Well, I can remove that. You also have a beach I can swim in with. A diggable spot. Oh, that's another boardwalk with fishing off of it, which I don't intend on making a character that gives a fuck about fishing, but it's good to know generally. They all have a mailbox and a palm tree. All three. Mailbox on one corner, palm tree on the other. Yep, all three of them. You seem like a good price for the square footage compared to my standard lot anyway, which is the 30 by 30 for 2K vampire lot. It's not the one with the best ratio, but it's good. That's rocky, so you're not going to be able to get to the water like the other ones. You have both of those. I can't tell if there's fishing off of that. you have the town park nearby instead, I guess. Um, since I brought it up, I had at one point done the math. Stripping the empty lots that had good rates of square footage to price down, removing everything built on them, so I could actually compare just square footage to price. And this lot has the best ratio of square footage to lot price. Um, $4,000, just $4,000 for a 50 by 40 lot. Much better deal. Um, you pay more for smaller lots. Now, of course, I can't undo that, but it does give the number I was basing that on. It's fine. But yeah, I usually go for that one because it's not a bad deal. I go for empty lots because people who live not in world will move into pre-constructed buildings, and they'll also move around through them. I have a mod that helps with facilitate NPC activities like that, or I'm under the impression that that's coordinated by that. But so yeah, lots that aren't empty, I don't use because other people will move into them, and I want them to be available to be moved into. That's also part of why this save is called No Rentals. This is just a pre-set up settings save where I've gone and made little adjustments to lots, but not all of them. I turned the rentals into just residential units. Not the new version of rentals. That's a new mechanic that got added. You can be a fucking landlord. Ugh. Embrace the worst parts of capitalism. Yeah. Gross. Gross. I don't expect I will ever experiment with that mechanic. Ew. Um, but, and of course, if you want space and want to leave already built upon lots alone, if you want the 64 by 64, there's this one. But I haven't really been using anything there or engaging with anything there. build in here, partially because it didn't have any neighbors, but people still moved around through it. But that was quite a while ago. Also, sometimes, just because there's so much collectible stuff along the edges of this neighborhood, I just tear down the museum and build a house there instead. Because this is the only library in the game that has the bookshelves that actually have skill books on them. All of the libraries should have that, but that's the only one that does. Um, Now, to have made this save at all, um, I needed to create a household, which I just named settings, so that I could put them in a lot, do absolutely nothing with them, except change some mod settings and other things. And there are things that I keep forgetting to change that I need to change in this core one. This fucking thing needs to go, and I keep forgetting because they've added this bullshit that I do not want. Um, so that one. Um, and then there's whether or not I engage with it. It's a thing that breaks, or it's a thing I end up needing to go into build mode, and fix over and over again. So I'm gonna remember to do it now and actually be able to save the change in what is essentially my world settings default save. Because now there are other lots where I will eventually have to tear down walls to fix things, but um, autonomous sexual activity will happen on this chair, and then people get stuck behind it. So I need to move the furniture so that it's fine. Just I need to move the furniture so that that won't happen, because it will inevitably happen. But there's also and this is a structural thing in a bunch of buildings, but don't always go to the buildings. But I can think of the spot in here right away. This is where award shows go, so I'm aware of it. You see how there's a hole there? Despite me, now I can disable all of the activity that goes. Actually, I can't. Not on walls. I've looked. There are animations that will make use of the wall and then put people on the other side of it. That was also happening with doors, locked doors that people weren't allowed on the other side of, and it was disrupting my game. So I removed that as an option. But walls have the same problem, only now they're struck inside a building that they can't get out of. So I have had to, on multiple occasions, demolish a piece of that wall so people could get out. And then I just leave it that way. But this is far from the only building where that structural problem exists. But I don't always go to the lots where those things happen because that bullshit exists. So going and knocking down or reconstructing um, things all over the place isn't something I super want to do, especially because some of it would be rather time consuming. There's one particularly flagrant one, and I think it's you. I think it's you. Because there's just a long string of them along the one entire side of the building, and it fucks up the whole structural setup to try and fix them. Yep, there they are. All of those pockets. End up being weird, or can end up being weird, because you can end up with people inside them even though they shouldn't be able to end up there. Um, I remembered these pockets were there. Um, so yeah, there's examples of those structural elements that cause problems if you have mods where people will end up on the other side of them. But the seating at the werewolf bar, I wanted to finally remember to fix in this, because that's not a I have to demo holes in walls thing. I can just move the seating a little bit and have it not be a problem. And the new settings thing that keeps annoying me, because that should be a global thing without me having to save it in this save to be a global thing. Anyway. Those trees cost 70. Those trees cost 70. Do I actually care about building here? Night market. Oh, that must happen. It would look like it would happen there. Botanical garden. Not enough room for for the full name, so it chopped it off. Yeah. Sure. Why not? And then the rest of it outside the actual lot. Not um, profoundly elaborate, but that's okay. I know I've looked at you, but I don't remember what's in you. Okay. I mean, lounge generally, I can think of multiple lounges that have pianos. I don't think all of them do. Oh no, you have those as well. Hopefully people use the toilets or whatever. Oh, you do have those, style of toilet. Which does narrow down where they're trying to represent with this new map location. Hot tub. Sure, why not? What are you supposed to be? Tiger sanctuary. It looks like there are paths that are meant to be able to walk to and maybe visit some of that. Mm, I don't know. I don't really start out needing a bigger lot than that. But I hate having multiple floors, having to swap between them. I'd rather be able to sprawl. So if I end up wanting something bigger, I'd have to move. Since I don't know what the sim I want to make actually wants to do, haven't decided yet. I'm not sure what'll be best. I'm just checking out the new people that have been added. Microwavable water incident? What? I mean, I know they add weird shit, but what? Mold and spooky. Leases are per day, and you can lease for a week at a time. I am not trying to look at the unit. I'm trying to look at that. Ah. Ah. Hyphenated. Extension. Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what I want to build. So I guess you get the tour of Tomarang, and I get to think about it some more. But I did remember to make 2 global changes that I had kept forgetting to make, so it's not entirely a loss. I just, I don't know what I want to make yet.